Yes. Commissioner Gross,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Deaton,
Here.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Here.
Commissioner Sample.
Here.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman.
Here.
Commissioner Fiani.
Here,
Commissioner Drick.
Here.
Quorum is present.
thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So
On-
move,
I'm
Helserman.
sorry, yeah, it looks like it's reversed on this agenda. So at this time, we have the call of the public. You will have 3 minutes to address the board. If you wish to speak, please provide a card to our office manager and board secretary. Do you have any cards?
I don't have any cards.
Okay, that's okay. You may you may come forward and address the board during the call of the public. You feel free to fill it out after. You will have 3 minutes. If you could just introduce your name and municipality, please.
Yeah, Mary Ann Lampkin, Hamburg Township. This is not necessarily a part of what my FOIA is going to be about, but I would like some kind of understanding about if we have a system here in the county that gives out email for various people, staff, the board members, etc., then that means it sounds like you are encouraging us to take advantage of communicating through email. I am attempted to do that with whoever is responsible for the County Board of Commissioners and trying to find a way to get on the agenda. I could not find anything online, so I sent an email. I never got a response. I thought that was really rude. I mean, if you're encouraging us to communicate with the county, different boards, members, staff, then why don't you have staff that take that responsibility seriously and at least send an email saying, thank you very much for your interest. At this time, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get anything. I made the phone call several times, left several voicemails. Nobody got back with me. And I'm just concerned that maybe we don't have staff on board here in the county that really does respect the residents here in the county. And so I'd like somebody to take the initiative to find out why I was not even given the courtesy of a response to my email. Because what I wanted to do was have an agenda item outside FOIA, which is why I'm here tonight, so that I could talk to you about the problems I've experienced with FOIA. It's a serious problem. And when I was here last time, there was such a mess in terms of this board not even knowing FOIA, with the exception of Mr., I don't want to mess up your name. He was the only one that really had any understanding of what we were attempting to do here. But what I'd like to say to you is why we were here back in 22, I won. I won against Mr. Reader. Mr. Reader, if I would get my FOIAs filled, will be going to prison. And it's quite possible that Miss Carolyn Henry might be going as well. What we were getting at here was the corruption in that department. The chief prosecutor, you have no idea what those people were up to as it relates to me. But they tried to charge me with 4 felonies. They've all been dismissed.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the room who wishes to address the board? Seeing none, is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to participate in the call of the public?
I do not see any, Commissioner.
Thank you. At this time, the call of the public is closed. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move, Helserman.
Support
Deaton.
Moved by Commissioner Helserman, supported by Commissioner Deaton. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 9-0. At this time, we have the FOIA appeal for Ms. Lampkin. Ms. Lampkin, I invite you forward, please. So it has been presented by legal counsel. on behalf of the FOIA coordinator, a background of our current FOIA matter on hand. The board has been provided copies of the request, the response, and appeal letter. The county initially responded to the request by calculating the fees associated with complying with the request, consistent with the county's publicly available procedures and guidelines and FOIA fee provisions in MCL 15.234, and asking for a good faith deposit of 1/2 of the estimated total amount of the fee. The estimated fee included labor costs in searching for records. For example, 2 hours of IT time at $48.48 per hour for a total of $96.96, 1/2 of which is $48.48. The county did not provide a response as to its granting in part and denial in part of the request within 5 business days, and did not give notice of a 10 business day extension. The county submitted a response granting the request in part and denying it in part, but only after the appeal was filed. But by that time, the request was considered completely denied as a matter of law. With regards to the appeal from denial of request, the board has 3 options. 1 is to reverse the denial. 2 is to uphold the denial, or 3 is to reverse the denial in part and uphold the denial in part. Per legal counsel, as the county has issued a delayed response in which the request was granted in part and denied in part, the FOIA coordinator recommends option C. Specifically, the county's implicit denial of items number 1 and number 4 through 8 should be reversed, as the records in item number 1 were provided to the requester, and the records in items 4 through 8 will be disclosed after a search for which a good faith deposit was required. The denial of items number 2 and number 3 should be upheld, as the county has certified that they do not exist. As to the appeal from the estimated fee, the board has 3 options. A, waive the fee. B, reduce the fee and issue a determination of the specific basis that supports the remaining fee. Or C, uphold the fee and issue a determination of the specific basis that supports the remaining fee. On behalf of presented by legal counsel, the FOIA coordinator recommends option C. For example, that the estimated fee be upheld, as the county's basis for the estimated fee was calculated consistently with the county's publicly available procedures and guidelines, and the FOIA fee provisions in MCL 15.234. The fee estimate itemized the fee components in a manner that expressed both the hourly wage and the number of hours charged. There is no statutory requirement that any particular form be used to express the itemization of labor costs. Options B and C require certification that the statements in the determination are accurate and that the fee amount complies with the county's publicly available procedures and guidelines and the FOIA fee provisions set forth in MCL 15.234. At this time, Ms. Lampkin, after all that, I will open this up. You will have 7 minutes to present your
First of all,
FOIA appeal.
may I have a copy of the esteemed attorney's opinion? I didn't get one.
Mr. Norford, do we happen to have a copy on hand?
I don't have a copy on hand that I haven't written all over, but
Okay.
you've read it into the record, so it's available.
Well,
Mr. Bird's going to provide you with one.
I can move on. I don't need it for my presentation. Has everybody gotten a copy of my packet of
Yes.
information?
Yes.
Okay. The first thing I would like you to do is look at that first packet that deals with all of my efforts to communicate with the FOIA coordinator. Okay? This is 4 times, thank you, 4 times I used Messenger for FOIA. Nobody responded. Not anybody. And then I get a copy of an invoice, just the invoice. And they tell me that that's a cost detail itemization. I'm sorry. The second packet I'd like you to look at is this. You all adopted this. this form here needs to be filled out very specifically, very detailed. We went through this the last time with Mr. Siziotti and Mr. Warden in the prosecutor's office. This form has to be filled out. You don't get to turn over an invoice and say, oh, that's it. Here it is, right here. No. All four of these lists that they're saying 4 through 8, that the IT people have to do the work to look for it, search for it. They have to provide what they believe the cost is for 4 through 8. Not just a bundle and say, okay, the IT people are gonna do this. Nope. You have to fill this out for 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And the reason why this is extremely important is because the statute was amended back in, I think it was 1976, shortly after it was enacted, because government was using excessive fees to discourage people from trying to acquire public documents. So they'd make the fee so outrageous that the person would just give up. Okay, I can't pay that. And unless you're indigent, you get no relief there. Most people have a job, function fairly well with the salary they make. But when it comes to trying to get documents out of the public domain, forget it. And that's exactly what they did to me the last time. They did it to my son. And this is an example of them doing it again. How do I know 98 bucks is what it really costs to search a phone, a computer, get text messages, when it's all right there? Yeah, right here, 98 bucks. You're telling me that the people I asked so that I could prove that there was a conspiracy going on in the prosecutor's office, in how he and his people decided they had the right to charge me with 4 felonies. On my land, there was no warrant, but Mr. Reeder even said I was brandishing a weapon on my property, threatening the police that were there, trespassing, and the public. And there was no public on my private property. So Mr. Reeder and his team decided that they were going to play games with the AG's recognized PAC committee, who assigned special prosecutors, because Mr. Reeder, from the moment he took office, decided he had a conflict of interest with Mary Ann Lampkin on various issues. So anytime an issue would come into the prosecutor's office that involved me, he would have to ask for a special prosecutor. Well, you want to know what Mr. Reeder did? He filed those 4 felonies and an arrest warrant by Carolyn Henry, and they had no jurisdiction, no authority, because they both recognized that he had a conflict and could not do that. Now, here's where it gets real grisly. He knew it, but he even put it in his petition for a special prosecutor. He'd already filed the charges. So what was the point of asking for a special prosecutor when a special prosecutor is the one who's supposed to investigate and determine should charges be brought? Not Reeder, not Carolyn Henry. No, the special prosecutor. So then what did Mr. Reeder do? Well, he got to work with Diane Collins, who's the person who goes shopping for a chief prosecutor and a special prosecutor that would play Reeder's game. What was Reeder's game? Well, he's sitting right here in the Livingston County prosecutor's office because he made a deal with Stephen Adeem that if you just, wink, 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 throw all those charges in front of Judge Geddes, she was involved in it too, and Judge Bain, and you just shove those felonies down that woman's throat before anybody knows that they're my charges and not yours, I will give you a job in Livingston County. You can leave Jackson and I'll hire you. Well, that's what he did. He didn't do an investigation, that is Stephen Adeem, when he worked for Jackson County. No, the chief prosecutor there, Jerry, whatever the heck his name is, all decided with Diane Collins, Reeder, and Carolyn Henry that we were all going to be real quiet. We're going to present all this to Judge Geddes and Judge Bain, and we're going to prosecute the hell out of that woman and put her in prison. I'm sure Jay might want to enlighten you with who is Marianne Lampkin. You don't screw with me. You don't violate the law and try to screw me over, because I will hunt you down. And that's what these are. This is the beginning of me proving that Livingston County was duped, because David Reeder hired that scumbag special prosecutor out of Jackson County, and he violated all kinds of hiring practices under EEOC, the state bar. Yeah, so Stephen Adeem is sitting over there. He came in without an opening. So what did they do? Ask Hillary Elrod. They created a fake position for him to come in as a volunteer. Why do I want all these emails? Because I did get some emails of Miss Elrod that proved they could not even hire him. So he had to come in as a volunteer. I'd like to know out of what budget did they pay him? Was it a stipend? Was it a true blown salary? But what I did find, working with a nice man named Bill Mitch, because he guided me through the budget stuff, and how they went around and around and around in the budgeting of trying to hire this guy, because he was going to break the law, and he was good. 15 minutes in my presentation. This is my presentation.
You had 7 minutes, and I've actually given you 10.
Well,
So-
I got news for you, Mr. Fiani, because you guys screwed me the last time I was in here with FOIA. The only reason I'm here rather than in the circuit court is because I'm trying to save this county money.
Thank you.
Because the
Thank you.
punitive damages are going to go racked up, not to mention, I'm going to be suing the county board of commissioners.
Thank you, Ms. Lampkin.
All right?
At this time, each commissioner will have an opportunity to present one question to Ms. Lampkin. We'll start with Commissioner Hauserman. Do you have any questions at this time for Ms. Lampkin?
Not right now. I reserve my right till the end.
We'll come back to you. Commissioner Gross, do you have any questions for Ms. Lampkin?
I have none at this time.
Commissioner Nakagiri?
I don't have any questions.
Commissioner Sample?
I do not.
Commissioner Drick?
No.
Commissioner Deaton?
No questions at this time.
Commissioner Domas?
I have no questions at this time either.
Commissioner Smith?
I do not.
We're back to you. Commissioner Hauserman?
None that I can think of right now.
Thank you. At this time, I'll entertain a motion. Let's see, a motion.
You have 10 days to make a decision, that's part of the statute. But if you want to rush to judgment based upon the attorney, what he's saying, I will file in circuit court.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to reverse the denial in part and uphold the denial in part, along with uphold the fee and issue a determination of the specific basis that supports the remaining fee.
I'll make that motion, Sample.
Moved by Commissioner Sample,
Support Deaton. Nope.
supported by Commissioner Smith. Any discussion among the board?
Yes.
Commissioner Drick?
I'd move that the
Chair allow me to abstain pursuant to the rules of professional responsibility as an attorney, P 25989 of the State Bar of Michigan, specifically 1.7 and 1.9 relative to conflict of interest.
I'd like to make a comment.
You have 1
Mr.
minute.
Drip doesn't have the right to abstain. Any relationship that we had is long past due in terms of any conflict. And if he wants to play the political chicken route, go ahead, Jay. I'm not surprised you did it the last time. But if this board and the rest of the people in this county know exactly what I know about you and your politics, I'm not surprised.
Thank you, Ms. Lampkin. I recognize your request to abstain. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries 9-0. The next item we have our accounts. Thank you.
8-0.
I'm sorry, thank you for the correction. 8-0 with Commissioner Drick abstaining. The next item we have our accounts payable and receivable, accounts payable reports. Is there a motion to approve the claims dated November 12th, 2024, and the payables dated October 19th through October 31st, 2024?
So moved on both of them.
Support. Gross.
Moved by Commissioner Deaton, supported by Commissioner Gross. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 9-0. At this time, we have the second call of the public. If anyone wishes to speak, please present a card and you will have 2 minutes. Does anyone in the room wish to speak?
I have no cards.
Thank you. Does anyone on Zoom wish to participate in the call of the public?
I do not have any hands, Commissioner.
Thank you. The call of the public is closed. At this time, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move, Hauserman.
Support Deaton.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, we are adjourned.